Pardon, sir?
What is HSM?
HSM, sir, is hardware security module, which is required for storing the keys. Then till now we were talking about Aadhaar authentication. As already mentioned by previous speakers, we have come up with a process which is known as verification, which does not require the involvement of UIDAI directly at the time of verification. This is paperless offline eKYC verification allows Aadhaar number holder to voluntarily use it for establishing their identity in various applications in paperless and electronic fashion, ensuring privacy, security and inclusion. Offline eKYC can be shared using digital format, which can be in XML or PDF form, or it can be done through a QR code which is printed on the Aadhaar letter. This is the difference between the online eKYC and offline eKYC. In online eKYC, the request is submitted to the CIDR, to the network of AUA and sub-AUAs, and the CIDR comes up with a yes/no or eKYC response. While in case of offline eKYC, it is the QR code or the XML file which is returned by UIDAI server, and then it is submitted to the offline verification seeking agency, which can verify whether this person is the same, the one who is submitting his Aadhaar. This has already been shown, I think. This is the QR code printed on the Aadhaar letter, and that offline XML can be downloaded from the Aadhaar UIDAI website. Aadhaar paperless offline eKYC verification, it takes care of all the concern, that is privacy, security and inclusion. KYC data may be shared with
Aadhaar Face Authentication RD Service app has been developed in-house by UIDAI under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Aadhaar Face Authentication RD Service is used by Jeevan Pramaan Face Application and Kogan app. Let us explain the usage of face authentication in the Jeevan Pramaan Face application, which is being used by senior citizens and pensioners. To download Jeevan Pramaan application, visit www.jeevanpramaan.gov.in. After entering your email and CAPTCHA, click on I agree to download button. Enter the OTP received on your email and click the submit button. After clicking the Jeevan Pramaan app to download, the downloading link is sent to the email. Now let's see how it works. By entering Aadhaar number or VID, mobile number and email address, residents will receive an OTP on entered mobile number and email. The resident can enter any one of them, then click on the submit button. After successful OTP validation, this screen will appear. The resident needs to enter their name and give consent for authentication by clicking this checkbox. For Aadhaar Face Authentication RD service, users need to hold still and blink their eyes to complete the authentication process. Aadhaar registered mobile number is not mandatory for availing this service. After the pensioner has done successful face scan-based authentication, the digital life certificate is successfully generated.
मेरा आधार, मेरी पहचान.
That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request Shri Vikas Gupta, CEO, PPPA, to share some more information on Parivar Pehchan Patra. Okay. So I would request Sophia ma'am to please come forward. Okay, moving to the next session, I would request Shri Saurabh Tiwari, Joint Secretary, DBT Mission, Cabinet Secretariat, to share a presentation on DBT Mission.
Respected CEO UIDI, senior officers from the state of Haryana, officer, ladies and gentlemen. I stand on behalf of DBT Mission Cabinet Secretariat, Government of India, to give our perspective on Aadhaar, DBT and the other related ecosystem. My job has been made easy by my previous speakers because they have dwelt upon most of what I wanted to speak on, but it also gives me an avenue to basically learn from you, to interact and to find how we can make things better. From a DBT mission perspective, I am very thankful to the host, that is UIDI, and to the hosting state, that is Haryana, for making my life easy. As regards Aadhaar, on my way to Chandigarh on the flight, I was reading a book named The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, which is a guide on wealth and happiness. And there he had quoted Archimedes to say that give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I said move the earth. Aadhaar, to my mind, provides that lever, and UIDI is making the lever longer, providing us a place to stand so that we can literally move the earth. As regards the state of Haryana, without sounding too patronizing, given the cooperative federalism structure which we have in the Constitution of India, it gives us a pleasure which a teacher experiences when she interacts with the best student of the class. What I mean here is that Haryana has been performing so well on the DBT parameters that rather than telling them what to do, most of the time we are learning from them what to do. It is ranked, yeah, a big clap for Haryana. What I mean to say here is not just words, it is borne by hard facts, and Haryana has been ranked number 1 on the DBT Bharat portal insofar as the performance of states goes. So, with these introductory remarks, we'll come to the main presentation. So, DBT mission is basically the overarching framework wherein the Government of India, as a good governance reform initiative, aims to improving public service delivery to ensure that the benefits are delivered efficiently and timely. It is in the Department of Expenditure at that time, and now it has been transferred since September 2015 to the Cabinet Secretariat, so that it gets the leverage and it gets the importance which is required in the overall governance framework. Why DBT? We all know, so I will not dwell too much on this. Who is the beneficiary? I would just dwell on one point, that Section 2F of the Aadhaar Act not only talks of an individual but also group of individuals, and this was briefly alluded to by the Honorable Chief Minister also in his address today, wherein he, I am sure that the state government would be cognizant of this, but just at the risk of repetition also I would like to emphasize that DBT can also be in kind. Use of Aadhaar in welfare delivery is an issue which has been dealt in the previous presentations which was made by DDG RO UIDI. Just I would like to add here that under section 7, recently UIDAI has issued a clarificatory OM whereby you are required either to produce your Aadhaar number, and in case no Aadhaar number has been assigned, the proof of having enrolled for Aadhaar is to be provided. So this was a grey area which was existing prior to 11th August 2022 when this OM was issued. I am very thankful to UIDAI for issuing this so that this grey area can also be plugged. So now in a nutshell, what you can do when you are implementing your DBT scheme, the workflow should be so designed that you ask for the Aadhaar number to start with. If the person has not been assigned an Aadhaar number, please take a declaration to the effect that I haven't been assigned an Aadhaar number, and then ask the person who is applying to say whether she has applied for Aadhaar. In case she has not applied for Aadhaar, please help the person get to a convenient Aadhaar enrollment center. I believe UIDAI has again recently come up with an initiative with ISRO whereby there is a geotagging of the Aadhaar enrollment centers so that those who don't have an Aadhaar, they can easily get Aadhaar. In any case, for those who are above 18 years of age, as CEO UIDAI in his address in the morning pointed out, the Aadhaar saturation is more than 100%. So there should be gradually started picking up, and now it is at 74%. What are the benefits of doing DBT? So around 2,22,000 crores of rupees have been saved due to DBT. This is for CS and CSS schemes only. And हरियाणा का अभी हमको मिला नहीं है पोर्टल पर, but I heard during the various speeches also that in one scheme only you have saved around 1,200 crores. But it has not been reported, so this is something we wanted to flag. So one of the focus areas of DBT is that it is very much dependent on the JAM trinity, that is Jan-Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile. Aadhaar we have heard all through, but what we would like is that this trinity should be seamlessly connected. That is, all Aadhaar numbers should be seeded with the mobile numbers. As on date, it is around 82 crores which Aadhaar has reported to us. Similarly, for bank accounts, around 77 crore bank accounts are seeded with Aadhaar on the NPCI mapper, whereby Aadhaar can be used as a financial address. In addition to that, the endeavor of the government is that we should use Aadhaar for all beneficiary oriented schemes, and this matter has been emphasized in the interstate council meetings also, especially the zonal ones which are chaired by the Honorable Home Minister, and we have requested all the state governments to do a review so that no beneficiary oriented state scheme is left out of the purview of Aadhaar. So the total number of schemes, state schemes of Haryana which are not on the DBT platform is not known to us. We would request this aspect also to be taken care of by the state. One more point. So another parameter on which we try to evaluate DBT schemes is the last bullet. That is, the CSS schemes have to be identified by the states for their components. So there, out of 64 CSS schemes which are applicable for Haryana, 54 only have been identified, 10 are left. So we would request this aspect also to be taken care of. How to identify a DBT scheme? Number one, it should be funded from the Consolidated Fund of India or the state to be notified under Section 7, which is basically dealing with DBT. If the benefit is given in cash or in kind or to an individual beneficiary or a group of beneficiaries, if the scheme can be notified under the Aadhaar Act, if the benefit can be directly transferred to the bank account in case of a cash scheme, and in case of in-kind, whether it is the in-kind benefit is given after Aadhaar authentication. And one of the parameters which I personally saw was how the person approached me when asking me for my identifier. There were many who said कि इतने identifier हैं, आप पैन कार्ड, इनकम टैक्स, आप अपना राशन कार्ड, कोई भी गवर्नमेंट का कार्ड दीजिए. So the probability of getting Aadhaar in such a workflow would be very less. There were some who said कि मुझको आधार दीजिए. Now when someone says that give me Aadhaar only, then the probability of getting Aadhaar goes very high. वो अलग बात है कि आपका कैसे से कि अगर अच्छा मेरे पास आधार नहीं है then maybe से कि अच्छा कोई और नहीं. So the way to frame your scheme, that is also very important. Then those applications which are not Aadhaar number of a minor. So in this case, can we make the beneficiary the parent, that is the mother or the father or the legal guardian, take the why Aadhaar? We have seen that part of it. Now what we are doing in DBT to have a better citizen, if we have already done it, especially in Haryana with the Parivar Pehchan Patra. But the whole idea is that the applicant should be able to apply online, the processing should be through a computerized environment, and the money should go directly into the bank account of the individual. Now on end-to-end digitization, this is the position of Haryana, that we are told that there are 84 state DBT schemes which are onboarded on DBT Bharat portal. 63 have been identified for end-to-end digitization, 20 and then bring them on the Umang platform, which is a mobile platform which is hosted by NEGT, Government of India. It is like an app of apps. So you don't need to have apps for every utility that you want to use, including Aadhaar, if you have just downloaded Umang. There are a lot of facilities and services of Umang which are also of Aadhaar which are also available on Umang. So all these schemes are onboarded on Umang. The citizen will get a great experience because she will not have to download a number of apps. One app will do which will encapsulate many of the schemes that they want. And it is also a multilingual, and for the purpose of Haryana it is also in Hindi. Notifications we have already discussed. 73 state schemes have been notified, which is very good. National Scholarship Portal is one area which we monitor, and here as on 31st August, the performance of Haryana is that 57.2% of the applications are pending with the schools, the school nodal officers who are called INOs here, and 70.8% are pending with the L2, and 97.3% of the applications are with Aadhaar, which is a very, very good number. So we would request Haryana to just look into these aspects, and for the renewal applications, around 48% are pending with the Institute Nodal Officer. There we would request the state to help, and we have also informed administer the NSP. The last few slides, Aadhaar as a financial address is also very important, and we are trying to ensure that 100% of the DBT payments go through the Aadhaar payment bill, so that you have a better experience from the citizens, in the sense that the Aadhaar payment bridge failure rate is much lower than the account based payment, and further there is a greater credibility because the changes in the banking system, for instance the banks get merged, etc., that doesn't affect the APB if the payment keeps on going there. And finally, and not the least, is that the Aadhaar linked bank account gives a special focus and a special satisfaction and a special certification that the bank account belongs to the person who was an applicant with a particular Aadhaar number in your scheme. For this purpose, a new facility has also been developed called Bharat Aadhaar Seeding Enabler, on which I think there will be a detailed presentation by NPCI, whereby an online service is made available where the student can link the bank account, or a beneficiary can link the bank account on the NPCI mapper with the Aadhaar number. This we will skip. This is the last slide, that is the eligibility criteria for DBT schemes. this is what we are moving towards, and recently UIDAI has issued a certificate which was dwelt upon during the address of Bhavna Madam, that they can also be notified under Section 7 of the Aadhaar Act. The certificates that you are issuing, 3 certificates were discussed throughout the morning: income certificate, caste certificate, birth certificate, and there are so many others which are required, and most of these they fall within the domain of the state government that they issue it. So we request the state governments to issue these certificates in an electronic form, seed them with Aadhaar. 11/8 OM dated UIDAI we have already discussed, so that eligibility verification can be done through the various databases on a seamless basis. And from a beneficiary perspective also, it is of great importance, because the beneficiary gets a very seamless experience, in the sense that if you are applying for a scheme where, say, a birth certificate is required, income certificate is required, and caste certificate is required, the beneficiary does not need to upload any one of these. She does not need to keep a copy. She just gives the Aadhaar number, and the certificates are picked from the various databases. From an administrative perspective, it gives a lot of help, because everything is done online. The eligibility verification is done, and it can be uploaded. This Government of India is also helping the states in this manner, because we have a fund of around 2,000 crores for the state governments, which they can use to digitize all these certificates and bring them on this thing. And the last bullet is a little incorrect. It is not about Uttar Pradesh, it is Haryana, and Haryana has already submitted a proposal. So this is all I have to say. Thank you, and if any questions, they are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I may now request Shri Sandeep Arya, Director UIDAI, to share some knowledge on information security and data vault.
Namaskar. Aadhaar is a 12-digit unique identity number being issued by UIDAI free of cost. It is purely on voluntary basis for the residents. It is regulated by Aadhaar Act 2016, which was subsequently amended during 2019 as well. It contains the demographic information, which bears name, age, gender, and address of the resident. And it also captures biometric data, which is fingerprint, iris, facial recognition. So all these attributes are being stored in the CIDR system. UIDAI provides Aadhaar services, which are basically enrollment and update and authentication facilities. The attributes which were captured during the enrollment, that is biometric and demographic, they all are compared with the existing database in CDR on one-to-one basis. And in case of any deduplicacy, in case of any duplicacy, the Aadhaar gets rejected. UIDAI CIDR is declared as a critical protected infrastructure. So as per the section 70 of the IT Act, the appropriate government may, by notification in the Official Gazette, declare any computer resource which directly or indirectly affects the facility of critical infrastructure to be a protected system. A computer resource should be that whose incapacitation will have a debilitating effect on the national security, economy, public health, or safety. So basically what it means to be declared as a critical protected infrastructure. So that means it has not only technical but a legal backing as well. Any unauthorized access, tampering, damage to the CIDR system may have civil and criminal penal consequences for the offenders. There are stringent penalties and punishment defined in the Aadhaar Act for the offenders. The design principle of CIDR has security and privacy in nature. The encryption of data is ensured right from the start till the motion. As soon as your personal data is captured, it is called a personal information data block. It is encrypted right from the word go. This database starting, it means in case of any increase in traffic, the system will not crash. This network segment defined zones are there for the management, for the internet access, like that. MPLS secure connectivity is there with the partners. There is redundancy of data center. 2 data centers are there, one in Manesar and another is in Bangalore. There is redundancy of power supply, internet supply, and apart from that, it is physically secured through card punching, biometric access, and CISF security also. It is totally a purpose as well as a device agnostic digital ID. It has minimalistic personal data, as I've already explained. There is no linkage of UIDAI database with the other databases. It is totally a federated database. The one database is unaware about the other database. The authentication is being performed through the registered devices only. There are hardware security modules where Aadhaar needs to be stored. And there's concept of VID also. VID is also equivalent to Aadhaar number, but it's a 16-digit ID which can be used in place of Aadhaar number. And a new security product implementation and upgrades. The IS division monitors the overall governance, which ensures the management and oversight of information security policies, security and risk compliance governance, evaluation of security initiative and programs. And as far as external audit is concerned, this is being conducted by GRCP auditors. They ensure risk assessment of UID ecosystem, security reviews, audit and recommendation, and new security capabilities in terms of privacy, fraud, and forensics.
Good afternoon, all the respected officials. My name is Vikas Sirohi from National Payment Corporation of India, Delhi. First of all, I would like to thanks to UIDAI for organizing this workshop, and it's a pleasure to be part of this workshop. As we all know, digital payment is one of the focus primary area for Government of India and as well as for the state government. And Aadhaar is not only an individual identity, but it's also a very helpful tool to promote an enablement of digital payments. How? I will try to explain through a small PPT. This is all our small use cases which we can go through in the state of Haryana. First of all, a brief about NPCI. Some of you might be aware, some of you are not. NPCI is a not-for-profit organization. We are an umbrella organization who take care of all the retail payments in the country, like UPI, FASTag, BBPS, check clearing, e-rupee, all shit ho rahe hain. It advised, it suggested to initiate a DPD transition on basis of his or her Aadhaar number. Beneficiary ke Aadhaar number pe you should initiate a transition as a financial address instead of account number and IFSC code. Because there are a lot of advantages of this system, Aadhaar-based payment system. There are a lot of advantages, a lot of features and benefits for the department as well as for the beneficiaries. Because right now, a beneficiary needs to carry multiple identity proofs to register in a department. However, in case of Aadhaar, अगर मेरे पास आधार है, I can go to a department, I can register कि मेरे को इस आधार नंबर पे benefit चाहिए, and मेरे को जहाँ पे भी वो benefit चाहिए, I can register that आधार number into that bank account. मेरे को multiple bank accounts के अंदर जहाँ पे भी I want to avail that benefit, I can feed my आधार number into that bank, and that DBT, that financial benefit can be transferred on that bank account. तो यहाँ पे beneficiaries को बार-बार department में आने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी उस केस के लिए. So Aadhaar is work as a single financial address, a universal address. तो जो भी DBT उसको आ रही है, that will be transferred on basis of on his or her आधार number, beneficiary का जो आधार number है. Basically आधार based DBT को जब डेवलप किया गया था, जब डिजाइन किया गया, for the reason that as we discussed multiple times, the leakages, the duplicacy, the cross beneficiary, because individual can have only a one Aadhaar number. So जब आधार के ऊपर benefit जाएगा, so we have we can stop all the leakages in the system. Additionally, the advantage which we have is there is a very high success ratio in Aadhaar based DBT. आज की डेट के अंदर जितनी भी सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर स्कीम है, मेजरली ऑन आधार बेस्ड डीबीटी ही है, एंड द सक्सेस रेशियो इज ऑलमोस्ट क्लोज टू 100% आधार बेस्ड डीबीटी का. हाउएवर इन केस आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट अकाउंट बेस्ड डीबीटी, अकाउंट बेस्ड डीबीटी में रिजेक्शन एज कंपेयर टू आधार इज मच हाई. So basically Aadhaar based DBT is a platform which connect department and department bank to beneficiary and beneficiary bank. So it's a platform which connected to both the banks, for transfer any financial benefit. There are few features, as I say, कि आधार बेस्ड बेनिफिट के काफी सारे फीचर्स हैं. Few of them is like the system, the robust system. As we say कि जितनी भी हमारी पीएम किसान की ट्रांजेक्शंस हैं, पीएम किसान की ट्रांजेक्शंस आधार बेस्ड होती हैं, एंड वी कैन से कि 10.5-11 करोड़ ट्रांजेक्शंस आधार पे होती हैं, एंड ऑल द ट्रांजेक्शंस सेटल इन अ सिंगल डे टू ऑल द बेनिफिशियरीज. सो वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि कितना सिस्टम रॉबस्ट है मेरा आज की डेट में. 10.5-11 करोड़ ट्रांजेक्शन सेम डे सेम मोमेंट पे सब बेनिफिशियरी सेटल की जा रही है. एपीबीएस सिस्टम का एक फीचर है कि दिस इज जो भी ट्रांजेक्शन आज इनिशिएट होगी वो आज ही सेटल होगी बेनिफिशियरी के अकाउंट में. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो बेनिफिशियरी मैंने आज ट्रांजेक्शन इनिशिएट किया तो इट कैन बी सेटल एनी डे लेटर. अगर आज ही है तो आज ही सेटल की जानी चाहिए. एडिशनली वी हैव डिफरेंट रिटर्न कोड्स. अगर कोई भी डीबीटी वापस आ रही है तो बैंक्स को रीजन देना होता है कि वो डीबीटी क्यों रिटर्न की रही है. अकाउंट क्लोज है, अकाउंट फ्रीज है, लीन है, जो भी रीजन है कि वो ट्रांजेक्शन जो वो रिटर्न हुई है. सो बेनिफिशियरी के बैंक को वो रीजन मुझे देना होगा कि वो ट्रांजेक्शन किस रीजन से वापस आई है. सो वी कैन आइडेंटिफाई क्या प्रॉब्लम है यहाँ पे. एडिशनली आधार बेस्ड ट्रांजेक्शन जो होती है, डीबीटी जो होती हैं, दैट विल प्रोसेस थ्रू अ यूनिक रेफरेंस नंबर. तो अगर मेरे पास जितनी भी ट्रांजेक्शंस हो रही हैं आज की डेट में आधार बेस के ऊपर, दे ऑल वर्क ऑन बेसिस ऑफ यूनिक ट्रांजेक्शन रेफरेंस नंबर. So in case I want to identify few days later, few months later कि ये कहाँ से हुई थी process, so I can identify on basis of unique reference number as well. Additionally एक चीज यहाँ पे और आती है आधार बेस के अंदर, which is आधार लुकअप फैसिलिटी, जो हमने ऑलरेडी हरियाणा के पास है, एनआईसी डिपार्टमेंट ऑलरेडी यूज कर रहा है. इसके अंदर क्या है कि डिपार्टमेंट बिफोर मेकिंग अ पेमेंट, डिपार्टमेंट कैन चेक कि वेदर दिस आधार इज एक्टिव और नॉट फॉर डीबीटी पर्पज. उसके अंदर मेरे पास पेमेंट करने से पहले ही मुझे ये पता चल जाएगी कि मेरी जो पेमेंट अगर मैं कर रहा हूं तो ये पेमेंट मेरी सक्सेसफुल होगी या नहीं होगी. सो जैसे कि आधार का जो हमारा सक्सेस रेशियो है, विच इज ऑलमोस्ट क्लोज टू 100%, क्योंकि वी कैन आइडेंटिफाई कि मैं जो आधार पे पेमेंट कर रहे हैं, दिस पेमेंट विल गो थ्रू और ये रिटर्न हो सकती है यहाँ पे. एडिशनली जो आधार बेस्ड का जो नेटवर्क है, आज की डेट के अंदर 953 बैंक्स आर लाइव इन दिस प्लेटफॉर्म, इन दिस इकोसिस्टम आधार बेस्ड पेमेंट के ऊपर, including all the PSUs, private, RRBs, cooperative, district cooperatives, all the banks are live in the ecosystem almost, including the post office and India Post Payment Bank. क्योंकि post office generally direct member होता नहीं है, so we have a direct member of India post office as well in this Aadhaar based payment system. Also, Aadhaar based payment is providing host to host and warehouse facility. Host to host as in कि suppose मेरे को 10 दिन बाद ट्रांजेक्शन करनी है, सो आई कैन इनिशिएट अ ट्रांजेक्शन इन एडवांस. तो मैं तो आज पेमेंट इनिशिएट कर सकता हूँ, विच विल प्रोसेस आफ्टर 2 days, 3 days, 5 days एज पर द रिक्वायरमेंट. सो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का यही एडवाइस है, यही सजेशन है कि ऑल द डीबीटी शुड बी प्रोसेस ऑन बेसिस ऑफ आधार इन द स्टेट्स एंड यूटीज. There are different DOs released by government of India, DBT mission से भी आए हैं कि it advised to go through Aadhaar based DBT. यहाँ पे एक चीज और आती है which is little important, which is about Aadhaar seeding. क्या होता है आज की डेट के अंदर अकाउंट में 2 तरह के अकाउंट आधार सीड होते हैं. वन इज आधार लिंकिंग, वन इज आधार सीडिंग. If I want any DBT, I want any financial benefit, I need to seed my Aadhaar. If I want only link with the account for the KYC purpose, for any other purpose, which is Aadhaar linking, not seeding. So अगर मुझे DBT purpose चाहिए, so I need to seed my Aadhaar with my bank account. So Aadhaar seeding का प्रोसेस क्या होता है कि आप बेनिफिशियरी या कस्टमर नीड टू गो टू अ बैंक, जहाँ पे भी उसको पैसा चाहिए, जिस भी अकाउंट के अंदर चाहिए, बेनिफिशियरी नीड टू गो टू बैंक. वहां जाके वो बैंक के अंदर अपना कंसेंट साइन कर देगा. इट देयर इज अ डिफरेंट फॉर्मेट, वो फॉर्मेट साइन करके बैंक को देगा कि दिस इज माय अकाउंट नंबर, दिस इज माय आधार नंबर एंड आई वांट फाइनेंशियल बेनिफिट ऑन माय अकाउंट, दिस अकाउंट. बैंक उसको अपने सीबीएस में मैप करेगा. एडिशनली वो एक एनपीसीआई के पास मैपर है, अभी हमने डिस्कस किया था, सौरभ सर ने भी बताया जैसे पहले, एक एनपीसीआई मैपर मेंटेन करता है विच इज आधार मैपर, जहां पे मैं अपने पास ये मेंटेन करता हूं कि ये आधार नंबर किस बैंक के साथ एक्टिव है आज की डेट के अंदर. आज की डेट के अंदर एज ऑफ नाउ 77 करोड़ आधार मेरे पास मैप है इन एनपीसीआई मैपर. आउट ऑफ 77 करोड़ 74 करोड़ आधार इज एक्टिव. मतलब 74 करोड़ बेनिफिशियरीज को मैं आधार बेस्ड डीबीटी कर सकता हूँ आज की डेट के अंदर। सर दैट इज इनएक्टिव। सर माइट बी बिकॉज उनके अकाउंट क्लोज हो गए या फिर उन्होंने अपने आधार अपने बैंक से हटा दिए, सो दे आर इनएक्टिव इन द मैपर। सर ऑलमोस्ट आज की डेट के अंदर जो हमारी आती है मोर देन 100 करोड़ अकाउंट वी हैव इन द कंट्री जो DFST। इसमें से काफी ऐसे हैं क्योंकि जनधन अकाउंट के अंदर इट्स मैंडेटरी, जनधन अकाउंट जितने भी हैं। सो यहाँ पे जिसको भी सीडिंग करनी होगी दे नीड टू सबमिट द रिक्वेस्ट, दे नीड टू सबमिट द कंसेंट इनटू देयर बैंक अकाउंट। देयर फॉर आधार, फॉर चेक द आधार सीडिंग स्टेटस वी हैव डिफरेंट API। एक बेनिफिशियरी को ये पता करना है कि मेरा आधार नंबर किस बैंक के साथ सीड है आज की डेट के अंदर। सो देयर आर डिफरेंट प्लेटफॉर्म यहाँ पे आज की डेट के अंदर। वन इज सबसे पहले ऑनलाइन सीडिंग। जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि आधार सीडिंग और डीसीडिंग बैंक की तरफ से होती है। सो एज ऑफ नाउ आधार सीडिंग एंड डीसीडिंग जो होती है वो फाइल बेस्ड है, नॉट API। तो आज की डेट में बैंक जो सीडिंग डीसीडिंग करते हैं विच इज वंस इन अ डे। हाउएवर वी हैव डेवलप्ड द API। उस API के अंदर बैंक रियल टाइम पे सीडिंग डीसीडिंग कर सकते हैं। आज की डेट के अंदर 16 बैंक आर लाइव ऑन दैट सर्विस। एडिशनली जो UIDAI की वेबसाइट है उसके ऊपर मैंने API दिया हुआ है। सो इफ इंडिविजुअल वांट टू चेक मैं कहां पे मेरा आधार सीट है, सो आई कैन वेरीफाई, आई कैन चेक ऑन UIDAI वेबसाइट। दिस इज हाउ इट्स लुक लाइक। स्क्रीनशॉट आपके पास है, ऐसा मेरे पास नजर आएगा कि मेरा आधार एक्टिव है, इनएक्टिव है और किस बैंक के साथ है। सर वी विल नॉट मैचिंग द नेम, इट्स अ इंडेमनिटी बाय द बैंक कि वो जो मुझे आधार नंबर दे रहे हैं दैट इज ट्रू। वो बैंक को अपना ड्यू डिलिजेंस करना होता है। The another one which we have is AEPS, Aadhaar Enabled Payment System. AEPS काफी हेल्पफुल रहा था ड्यूरिंग कोविड टाइम क्योंकि ब्रांचेज में लिमिटेड लोग अलाउ थे जाने के लिए। सो AEPS इज सर्विस विच वी अलाउ अ बेनिफिशियरी टू अवेल द बेसिक बैंकिंग सर्विसेज। जो मेरे पास बेसिक बैंकिंग सर्विस है लाइक कैश डिपॉजिट, कैश विड्रॉल, फंड ट्रांसफर, बैलेंस इंक्वायरी। सो आई कैन avail all the banking services without going to the bank. How? Through AEPS. So AEPS we have seen a lot of banking correspondence in the market. मैं कहीं पे भी जाके I can check, I can validate कि मेरे बैंक के अंदर क्या हो रहा है उसके अंदर। यहाँ पे एक चीज I just want to clarify, आधार सीडिंग एंड आधार लिंकिंग both are different. आधार सीडिंग is only mandatory for DBT. AEPS के लिए I can do on basis of आधार लिंकिंग also. यहाँ पे सीडिंग मैंडेटरी नहीं है। So suppose मेरे पास 4 अकाउंट हैं, मैं चारों अकाउंट यूज कर सकता हूं थ्रू AEPS, बट मेरे पास आधार सीडिंग के लिए मेरे को एक ही अकाउंट में करना होगा जो मेरा लेटेस्ट अकाउंट होगा। यहाँ पे सीडिंग के लिए जिसमें मैंने लास्ट में मैप कराया होगा इस दिन, राइट सर। आधार सीडिंग हमारा वहां पे है जहां पे हम आधार पे भीम आधार पे इज व्हाट सपोज मेरे को कहीं पे अपनी पेमेंट करनी है टू एनी मर्चेंट पे या किसी काउंटर पे डिपार्टमेंट में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पेमेंट करनी है, म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन की पेमेंट करनी है। आई डोंट हैव एनी कार्ड, मेरे पास कार्ड नहीं है, ना डेबिट कार्ड ना क्रेडिट कार्ड है, एंड आई डोंट हैव मोबाइल। स्टिल आई कैन डू अ डिजिटल पेमेंट। हाउ? थ्रू भीम आधार। सो भीम आधार इज अ सिमिलर बायोमेट्रिक डिवाइस होता है। सो आई कैन अवेल आई कैन डू अ ट्रांजेक्शन ऑन बेसिस बायोमेट्रिक। मैं अपना वहाँ पे बायोमेट्रिक करूंगा। आई कैन चूज माई बैंक अकाउंट कि मेरे को किस बैंक से पैसा भेजना है, and I can transfer the amount digitally to the merchant or the department. तो जहाँ पे मेरे कैश कलेक्शन होते हैं काउंटर पे, दिस सर्विस कैन बी अवेल पर ट्रांजेक्शन 10,000 रुपीज की इसकी लिमिट है। 10,000 रुपए तक का अमाउंट मैं वन टाइम इसमें ट्रांसफर कर सकता हूँ। आई कैन ट्रांसफर विदाउट एनी मीडियम लाइक फोन और क्रेडिट कार्ड और डेबिट कार्ड। आई कैन ट्रांसफर ऑन बेसिस ऑफ माई बायोमेट्रिक ओनली। दिस इज अ भीम आधार सर्विस विच इज used by different department by different states. We can also avail कि हम यहाँ पे ये सर्विस कैसे प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं हरियाणा के अंदर। इसमें वीडियो और भीम आधार ऑल्सो।
आप अपने फेवरेट रेस्टोरेंट में खाने के बाद पेमेंट कैसे करते हैं? क्रेडिट कार्ड, डेबिट कार्ड या कैश? क्या आप मानेंगे अगर हम आपसे कहें कि आप अपने अंगूठे के द्वारा भी पेमेंट कर सकते हैं? पर ये सच है। प्रस्तुत करते हैं भीम आधार, NPCI की एक नई क्रांतिकारी पेमेंट सर्विस जो आपके पेमेंट को बनाएगा और भी आरामदायक। अब हर खरीद के बाद आपको बस अपने बैंक का नाम चुनकर आधार नंबर और रकम अपने दुकानदार के मोबाइल में एंटर करना है और अपने अंगूठे के निशान को स्कैन करके अपनी पेमेंट को प्रमाणित करना है। इसके बाद आपकी पेमेंट सीधे आपके दुकानदार के अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर कर दी जाएगी, जिसके सफल पेमेंट होने पर आप SMS भी पाएंगे। आज ही भीम आधार के साथ सरल, सुरक्षित और सुपरफास्ट पेमेंट सर्विस का लाभ उठाएं। जल्दी करें, अपने आधार नंबर को अपने बैंक अकाउंट से लिंक करें। पावर्ड बाय NPCI।
So as I said, I don't have any card, mobile, nothing. Still, I can do a digital payment through Bheem Aadhaar. So expectation क्या है यहाँ पे? All the DPT should be on Aadhaar. We try कि जो DPT हम कर रहे हैं, that should be on Aadhaar or as a single financial address. We can use Bheem Aadhaar for all the counters. जो मेरे counters हैं, municipal corporations के, UDs के, tourism के. आधार बेस्ड हमारे काफी डिपार्टमेंट ऐसे हैं जो ट्रेजरी बेस्ड पेमेंट करते हैं, सो RBI इज ऑल्सो ऑनबोर्डेड ऑन आधार बेस्ड पेमेंट। तो अभी द डिपार्टमेंट हु इज यूजिंग ट्रेजरी डायरेक्टली थ्रू RBI, सो नाउ दे कैन ऑल्सो अवेल द सर्विस ऑफ आधार बेस्ड पेमेंट थ्रू RBI। AEPS जहाँ पे भी हम AEPS सर्विसेज इनेबल कर सकते हैं, वी शुड प्रीफर कि हम AEPS के थ्रू भी बैंकिंग सर्विस प्रोवाइड करें। एंड द अवेयरनेस अबाउट द आधार सेटिंग एंड आधार लिंक्ड इन ऑफ द अकाउंट। This is all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vikas ji. Now I would request Srimati Sophia Dhaya, Secretary CRIT, to share some information on Parivar Pehchan Patra.
He would have to apply. He would have to give a multiple of documents, जो कि उसको हर एक स्कीम के लिए दोबारा देने पड़ेंगे. So this creates the experience of the citizen is poor because of the way the processes are built. एक क्वेश्चन और अक्सर आया है जब हम PPP इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे थे कि why PPP, क्या आधार सफिशिएंट नहीं था? Today we are talking of Aadhaar, so that's important to talk about. While Aadhaar identifies the beneficiary uniquely, it does not talk about the eligibility of scheme. So scheme eligibility के लिए हमें और बहुत parameters चाहिए जो कि आधार में नहीं है. And then family based eligibility, काफ़ी सारी schemes हैं जो हमारी family के basis पे we decide. So for that reason we needed PPP. The benefits of PPP of course are flowing from the problems that we are trying to solve. I'll not go into the detail of that. Of course, the documentation burden is reducing as we speak. In Government of Haryana, most schemes or services are delivered through the Saral platform, as all of us know. उसमें काफ़ी सारा डेटा जो कि वेरीफाइड डेटा परिवार पहचान पत्र में एग्जिस्ट करता है, उसके लिए सिटीजन को कुछ नया नहीं देना पड़ता. So that much documentation burden has already reduced, and it will keep reducing as we implement PPP completely. We have already started proactive service delivery. What I stated is the objective of PPP. Old age pension, it has started being delivered proactively. As and when as a citizen turns 60 and he meets the other eligibility conditions for old age pension, the combined income of spouse and the person, if all of those eligibility conditions are met in PPP, data is pushed to the Social Justice and Empowerment Department. They then reach out to the beneficiary, they check whether the beneficiary wants the service or not, and if he gives his consent, then DBT is started for that pensioner. So this we have already started, it's few months in implementation. We do have some teething problems, more to do with the implementation on ground than PPP, and we are freezing those out too. But we've already started and it's already in force in the state. Certain certificates, a lot of discussion happened on the certificate delivery through Aadhaar. We are already doing proactive certificate generation on Saral from the data coming from PPP. Caste certificate, we've been doing it for SC caste certificate. BC was also recently started, and income certificate. Then एक स्कीम जिसके बारे में मुख्यमंत्री जी ने भी बात की थी, मुख्यमंत्री अंत्योदय परिवार उत्थान योजना. Customized service delivery to the citizen. So we identify what is the need of that citizen, and then we deliver the financial support in whichever format is most suitable to him, so as to uplift his financial status. और इसका बेस डेटा पीपीपी से ही जाते हैं. These are some of the fields that we are capturing in PPP. As you can see, it goes beyond the data collected in Aadhaar. PPP को अगर हमें किसी को summarize करके बताना होता तो there are 3 phases in which PPP was implemented. To start with the data collection, we spent quite a lot of time on data collection and cleaning. आज हम डेटा वैलिडेशन कर रहे हैं. आप सबको जैसे आप कहीं ना कहीं आपने सुना होगा और यू माइट हैव वेरीफाई कर लेते हैं, मैच करते हैं अपने पीपीपी के डेटाबेस से एंड वी रिप्लेस इट विद वैलिडेटेड डेटा. जहाँ पे हमारे पास इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सोर्स नहीं होता वहाँ पे हम फिजिकल मीन्स ऑफ वेरिफिकेशन करते हैं. जैसे मुख्यमंत्री जी ने बताया इनकम वेरिफिकेशन का हमने एक बड़ा डिटेल्ड प्रोसेस बनाया हुआ है. एज ऑफ डेट वी हैव डन इनकम वेरिफिकेशन फॉर नियरली 50 lakh families in Haryana, and a large number of individuals' date of birth has also been verified as of now. As we always say, and which is common knowledge, we are a very good case, good use case for Aadhaar. Whenever somebody registers for PPP, real-time demo or demographic authentication of Aadhaar is done for that person. So we establish the uniqueness of a person right when he registers in PPP. तो एक citizen हरियाणा का एक नागरिक at a time एक ही family में exist करेगा. That we ensure at that time, and we take back the name as it exists in Aadhaar, and that is the name which is used for the citizen throughout schemes, whatever scheme delivery he goes for. काफ़ी सारे जैसे मैंने बताया हम अगर वैलिडेशन करते हैं तो जो एग्जिस्टिंग डेटाबेसेस हैं उनके साथ हम वैलिडेशन कर रहे हैं. पीपीपी की जो लेगेसी डेटा है उसमें आधार को हमने काफ़ी यूज़ किया है. जहाँ भी आधार अवेलेबल था किसी डेटाबेस में वी यूज़ दैट. एक फ्रेज यूज़ किया था JSDBT ने, नजिंग पॉलिसी. सो वी ऑल्सो यूज़ दैट नजिंग पॉलिसी फॉर टेकिंग आधार और फॉर यूजिंग आधार टिल द गुड गवर्नेंस रूल्स केम इन टू बीइंग. We were doing it based on Section 7, the Aadhaar in PPP, and जब तक ये नहीं आया था कि आप दूसरे स्टेट से भी ले सकते, दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट्स के साथ शेयर कर सकते हैं आधार. We faced a lot of problem in this part. So nudging policy and the fact that we were housed in CM office, we used all of that, but we used Aadhaar extensively to do data validation. And recently we've got approval for Aadhaar authentication at the time of birth registration also. This is the legal framework that we have in Aadhaar. We have a Aadhaar Act, the PPP Act. We have an authority for delivering the PPP database. And we are implementing Parivar Pehchan Patra through the structure of the ADCs in the district. The ADCs are the nodal or the in charge officers for PPP, and there is a set of officers in their office. So just to wrap up what we have done right in PPP, which I think common knowledge to everyone here, but for the sake of emphasizing, leadership, it's a very cliched word that there's a big role that leadership plays, but we are again a very good use case of that. The reason Parivar Pehchan Patra has successfully reached where we are today in a very short span of time is because it is led from the top, literally from the Honorable CM and the PSCM. All of us have worked very closely with PSCM because the different departments also interact with PPP when the department is getting integrated. Our team, of course, has spent nights and days working on different modules. So the role of leadership is very well reflected in how PPP has progressed and evolved so far. We have a very small team. A lot of times we get the question as to what is your team size, what is your budget. So we are a very lean, small team within CRIT. Then one point, this was briefly touched in the morning, I emphasize wherever I talk about PPP, is the in-house technology partner. As all of you know, NIC is the technology partner for us. It has given us twin advantages. One is, of course, in the morning it was talked of in context of data privacy. Because we have NIC as partner, we are very comfortable about the security of data, about the privacy maintenance of data. If you bring in a private player, there's always a danger. Even if you sign NDAs with them, there is a danger of that data not being as secure as we would want. So that is one thing that NIC being our partner, we achieved. And more importantly, we have the NIC team here, the agility that comes with NIC. If we have a private partner, even if we want to make a small change in the application, it goes through a lot of motions of change management. And invariably, it gets delayed far beyond what is the desirable time limit. We have sometimes we joke with the NIC team that we churn out modules on a daily basis. So that agility we've got because of a technology partner. And then of course we've been evolving continuously, and as the database keeps getting riper and riper in terms of accurate validated data fields, we are coming up with newer schemes which are actually flowing out of the data from PPP, the Mukhyamantri Antyodaya Parivar Uthan Yojana. And recently a drive has been started that we have categorized all the citizens into different age groups which already are there. And one particular department has been made in charge of monitoring the movement or the progress of citizens in terms of the schemes that are to be delivered to them. For example, there is the category of 0 to 6 years. Those children may either be in Anganwadi or they may be in school. And PPP captures both of them. So there is still a large number of these children who are in neither. So WCD has been given the responsibility that you go and see where these children are in the fields. Which category can they be given to, whether Anganwadi or school. So this is now the latest that we are doing through PP, that is really literally reaching out to the citizen to see what benefits he may need and whether he is looked after or not. Another thing, we have dashboards for all modules. Those of you from the departments who've interacted with PPP, you would be aware. We monitor the progress on the last mile delivery of validations through our dashboards for every single verification that we are doing, and that has helped a lot in implementation. And then we've integrated with the schemes, so real-time delivery is happening. Challenges, of course, there is resistance to change. Now everything is automated, all data has to flow from PPP. And the biggest challenge is that our stakeholders are multivariated, and when we have to validate the data on the field, a lot of times the functionaries on the field are not grid resources. They belong to the department who has the mandate for that particular data field. So coordinating with them, impressing upon them to validate data and to do it accurately and with quality, that has often been a challenge for us. So this is the stats as they existed a few days back. This was also, CM sir also talked about these. So as you can see, we've covered the length and breadth of governance schemes in Haryana and the citizens and family. Thank you.
I would now request Shri Jatinder Sethia, Director UIDAI, for a vote of thanks.
Now coming to the end of this workshop, I would like to propose the vote of thanks to this august gathering. Respected Srimati Keshniya Anand Arora ma'am, Chairperson Haryana Water Resource Authority. Shri Saurabh Garg, I think he has already left, I'm sorry. Mr. Saurabh Tiwari, Joint Secretary DBT, Cabinet Secretariat, and our most valued guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege to extend vote of thanks on behalf of UIDAI, all of Chandigarh. We are grateful to Chief Minister Shri Manohar Lal ji for sparing his time from the busy schedule that he had. I also want to thank CM sir and CEO sir for sharing their thoughts with us. We have been benefited a lot from their address and their directions to harness the potential of Aadhaar. Thanks are also due to the officers present here for their active participation and speakers for their presentations. My sincere thanks to our DDG Srimati Bhavna Garg for her leadership and support, and whole UIDAI team in organizing this workshop. Thanks are due to the IT team of Haryana State, headed by SCMP, Manish Chandanji and his whole team. They have been working a lot for the Aadhaar project in the state of Haryana. Thank you all for sparing your precious time and making this workshop a success. I would also like to inform that there are certain pamphlets in the workshop folders that we have provided. I would request you all to kindly go through them, share them with your department officials, and if possible display them for public information. Now in the end, I would request the dignitaries and participants to kindly join us for this. Thank you.